Last year, there was a girl I liked. I'm gonna call her Nat. This year, however, I was able to sit next to her in math class, and thusly have time to talk to her. As I talked to her, I slowly began to realize that I like her. I decided to ask her to see Star Wars Episode 7 with me, with a few of my friends, at one of those dine-in movie theaters. It was gonna be a group thing, and I thought we would have fun. It was gonna be a fun time. And she said yes. However, I found out that the day before I asked her, some hotshot who I'm going to call the fuckboy came around and asked her out. They immediately started dating. I figured that since she said yes to the movie, I decided not to do something funny and just treat her as a friend, because I have a code of morality, and I didn't want to shatter it. The day of the movie, she couldn't come because she had an anxiety attack, and her mother didn't want her to leave the house. And of course I felt very sad and let down personally because of this. I couldn't help but feel that I had something to do with this anxiety attack. When school started up again, I heard that everyone predicted that the relationship would end by the end of 2015. Now, during this time, I became her friend. She was funny. I talked to her on Snapchat probably 4 or 5 times a week. We talked a lot, we shared a lot. Around February 1st, they broke up for the first time. Because another motherfucker, who I'm going to call the loser, confessed his love for Nat. And now please note that she is still dating the fuckboy. This led to a chain of events. This resulted in the fuckboy punching a hole in the wall of the boy's bathroom. This caused him to be temporarily suspended from school. And I did everything I could to comfort Nat, because she feared that this would cause them to break up. I told her it wasn't her fault, which it truly wasn't. It was the loser's fault, and he should have done nothing to disturb their relationship. I then went ahead and told her all the reasons why he wouldn't break up with her. She's great company and she's fantastic to talk to. She has such beautiful eyes, like the cosmos, and a wonderful, cute smile. Her smile actually made me believe in global warming again, because every time she smiled, an iceberg would melt. Her personality is something to be treasured, and I told her if the fuckboy didn't see any of that, then he quite frankly doesn't deserve her. After the breakup, I then took her out for some Einstein bagels to try to cheer her up. We listened to some Britney Spears, which is some old-fashioned music that we liked. Of course, I refused to let her pay for anything, and then I decided I wanted to ask her to be my Valentine the Friday of. I bought one of those cloth hearts that are usually filled with chocolate. However, she hates chocolate. It hurts her throat, even the white chocolate. So I gutted out the chocolate, pulled it all out, and I was going to give it to her filled with her 2 favorite snacks I knew she liked: Cheez-Its and Skittles. I also started selling Nuka-Cola at school, which is from the video game Fallout, and at the time her favorite drink was the Nuka-Cola Quantum. So we would have that in the middle, and I would give it to her wrapped in a note supposedly from Deadpool, saying, "Dear Doc." That was her nickname. I called her, "Dear Doc, your mission, if you choose to accept it, will be to escort my name on the 14th of February to meet at a rendezvous at 1800 hours to a dinner and a showing of the movie Deadpool. Sincerely, Deadpool. P.S. Dressed to Kill." And on the bottom left-hand corner, it had Deadpool saying, "Hey, hey, 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 I say that's a pretty sweet deal, not because it's my movie or anything." It was obvious that I would be taking her to a showing of the Deadpool movie. However, I was planning to take her to one of those nice fancy movie theaters with the cushiony seats and the recliner that comes with a blanket, and they serve actual 5-star cooked food while you're watching the movie. One of those dine-in theaters, and then take her out to ice cream afterwards. I wanted to treat her nice. I wanted to treat her well. However, I found out on February 10th that they got back together. At this point, I was completely devastated. However, from what I understood at the time, I believe that the fuckboy and Nat were happy together, and I of course had no right to change or ruin any of that. However, my friends thought otherwise. Specifically, who I will call Queen. So, Queen wanted me to put the items not in a heart, but in a T-Mobile paper bag. And they wanted me to give it to her on Friday to ask her to be my Valentine. I would ask her nonchalantly to see the movie, and they believed that would be the best course of action. I feel terrible, terrible thinking on doing it. One hand, it could work, and she would say yes. On the other hand, it could ruin the relationship all over again that she was so worried about losing before. And I decided, if they were still on good terms on Friday, I wouldn't do it. If not, then I would. So Friday came, and from the looks of it, the couple was happy. And inside of me, I guess I was too. I couldn't do it, for it was morally wrong. So I gave my 2 Deadpool tickets to the 2 close friends, the King and Queen, for them to watch it on Valentine's Day. So, late on President's Day, the day after Valentine's Day, Nat texted me that night that she broke up with the fuckboy. Later, I found out that the fuckboy was flirting with 3 other women and got drunk with his ex. After about an hour or so of doing my best to comfort her, I decided I would ask her to be my Valentine through Snapchat video. And I know the timing is terrible, but here's why I did it. I was afraid that when I built up the courage to try it again, it would be too late. Some other guy might come in and swoop her up, take her away, and treat her the same way the fuckboy treated her badly, and the neglect that he gave her. I was also fearful that somehow they might get back together again, because, remember, I didn't know about the drunk or the women thing. I knew that the fuckboy did something wrong, something horrible to her. She threw out the promise ring and a necklace. So I knew it was pretty bad. So through Snapchat video, I asked her to be my Valentine. I showed her the bag. I showed her the contents of the bag. I told her that I wanted to take her somewhere nice over the weekend so she can have a lot of fun and forget about what happened the past few weeks. I wanted her to enjoy herself and have fun. Then she replies with just a single message saying, "I need to think about this for a while," and she never messaged me again that night. At lunch the following day, I go up to her and I gave her the bag. This time I added a cherry and a Mexican Coca-Cola. I told her that I liked her slowly over time as I got to know her. I told her that I grew more fondly of her personality. I told her that she was smart, told her she was a beautiful artist, and how much it's sad that she underplays her work. I told her how much it's fantastic that she loves horses. I told her that she was smart and beautiful, and to generals that is seen as a deadly combination. However, I'm no general. I'm Arthur. I know that she's not flawless, but we're all humans, Nat. We're all flawed. However, Nat, I think you're perfect. When I told her this, she stood there for a good 2 minutes and didn't say anything. And then she left the room with her friend and told me that, don't worry, it's not because of you. Ever since then, we haven't really talked about it. One of her friends came up to me and heard what happened between Nat and I. I'm not going to say who, but she asked to help, and she said some of the nicest things I've ever heard. She told me that it's about time someone nice fell for Nat, and to be honest, that really did hit me. Later, I found out that she blocked me on Snapchat because I didn't see her story for a while. When I approached her about this and asked her if I did anything wrong, she said, no, you're not at fault. Don't assume that you did anything wrong. You just keep bringing it up, and it's best for me to forget about it. I asked her if it was alright if she could let me know when she was okay. She said sure. A week later, I went up to check on her, and she obviously wasn't alright. So I wrote this note. So far, she hasn't talked to me. We haven't talked about this whatsoever. To be honest, I have no idea what to do. I've been put in a situation that I've never been in before, and in a scenario that I never dreamed of. I'm in complete and total unknown territory, and I fear one slip up could completely bring the whole thing tumbling down. I ripped out my heart and I gave it to her, and it stayed there, rotting, dying, ceasing to exist. I'm in agony. I'm in so much agony over this rejection, over being tossed aside without a word and explanation. And Nat, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't try hard enough. I'm sorry that I wasn't handsome enough. I'm sorry that I wasn't healthy enough. I'm sorry that I wasn't good enough to talk to again. I'm sorry that I caused you grief. I'm sorry that I cared when you were sad. I'm sorry about everything I said to you. I'm sorry for my actions. I'm sorry for whatever else I did to deserve being pushed away and forgotten about. I'm sorry that I wasn't good for you. I'm sorry.